I've noticed that my camera reviews lack the same impact as the larger channels on YouTube.
Like, I was a bit jealous.
I've been doing my research by watching their reviews of the Sony ZVE1 and comparing them to mine, and I've noticed a few things. The first thing I've noticed is that their energy levels are much higher than mine. They actually make you feel excited to buy the camera. This is the Sony ZVE1.
Although it's not perfect, no friggin' camera is perfect. I really think Sony rolled a W with this camera, and I promise y'all, I'm not trying to hype it up just because Sony flew us out here and let us use it.
Hype. World's lightest, smallest, full-frame interchangeable lens camera, same video capability as the higher tier alpha cameras. Let's go, man.
Not every YouTuber generates the same level of excitement, though.
So, is this good enough? First impressions. That grip. What is this? Sony, what are you doing here?
The next thing I've noticed is that the bigger camera channels do a better job of showing off the body with the buttons and dials. It's under 500 grams, and it has the articulating flip-out screen that I always had wanted.
Okay, moving on to the physical operations. The wheels, they're fine. The buttons, they're okay, they're clicky.
Now, despite it being small and using recycled materials, it doesn't feel too bad in the hands. I expected to hate the grip, but I actually kind of like how they balanced the small size while still feeling like you have a decent grasp on the camera. But the finish is smoother, more plasticky, and a bit slipperier than the more premium models. So overall, the build quality certainly isn't as good as the FX3, but it's definitely my favorite of the ZV lineup.
Now, when it comes to doing the vlogging test, I was quite proud of my efforts for getting out into my neighborhood and not worrying about the neighbor's judgment for me talking to myself while holding a camera.
But is it cinematic?
This is a test of the Sony ZVE1 using the Sony 11mm lens, open to 1.8 using active steady shot. And this is a test of the Sony ZVE1 using the Sony 11mm lens open to 1.8 using dynamic stabilization. I have noticed the big camera channels vlog in more epic locations, such as bookstores and bowling alleys.
Testing out with bowling, or testing out with bowling. I said bowling, not bald, guys.
This is a mode I've never seen on any camera. It will increase the depth of field when there's more than one subject in it. So I like some background blur, some background separation. And right now I have an f1.8 lens, but it's shooting at f2.2.
The big camera channels always add well-written jokes into their videos. That's something I was completely lacking. I need to work on that.
What'd you find?
Emily Dickinson for $1.
Whoa, good price.
It's a bargain.
She wrote that whole book and she's gonna sell it for $1. She's getting ripped off. Us creators gotta make some money.
I haven't bought a new camera in the last 3 years since the A1. Don't fact check me on that.
A fatal flaw in my review of the Sony ZVE1 is that I failed to do a rolling shutter test. If you'll notice, Mark Bennett does the best rolling shutter test of any camera channel on YouTube.
The ZVE1 has better rolling shutter. It shares that fantastic sensor with the A7S III, the FX3, and the FX6, so its rolling shutter is second to none. So if you're going to be doing a lot of whips and pans, you're filming very fast moving things like NASCAR going by, the Tour de France, then you are going to want that fantastic rolling shutter of the ZVE1 compared to the not so great rolling shutter of the A7C II. Let me show you that now.
Since there's no spare pixels to deal with, the sensor readout can be faster than high-resolution models, which should, in turn, mean reduced skewing from rolling shutter artifacts without incurring the cost of a stacked sensor. To find out, here's the ZVE1 at 50mm, panning back and forth at 1080 25p, where I'd say there really is minimal skewing visible. And now for comparison at 1080 50p, again staying pretty well behaved. Next at 4K 25p, where there's still nothing bad to report, even with pretty severe movements back and forth, sorry if it's making you feel a bit ill. And finally at 4K 50p, which again looks pretty good to me.
Gordon Lang did a mighty fine rolling shutter test too, but I think I'm going to be a little sick. Another exciting feature that I completely forgot to add in my review was the framing stabilizer. It pans on the sensor, giving you the effect of having a cameraman following you around. I can't believe I forgot this.
This one's actually pretty cool because it can follow me around the frame using the new AI processor.
You also might find yourself noticing that the ZVE1 has fun little gimmick modes that are actually entertaining to your audience. They will respect you more, that you can dynamically zoom upon yourself. Now, on paper, when this was announced, I was like, that's the dumbest thing. Like, no one's ever going to use that. It's like, oh, look at me. It's tracking me like a Pocket 3. But it's kind of fun. I do enjoy it. I'm going to shoot it more. Like, I've been doing it, and I'm like, I'm having more fun. It's surprisingly fun to do this.
I did, however, manage to test out the different steady shot modes by walking in circles around my backyard. I have a look of determination on my face. And I did conduct a scientific low-light test in my bedroom. This is a low-light test of the Sony ZVE1 using the Sony 11mm f1.8. This is a low light test of the Sony a6700 with the Sony 11mm lens open to 1.8. Now, the one feature on the Sony ZVE1 that I did showcase was wildlife footage. I didn't let a lack of an EVF stop me from capturing some squirrel footage to test out the animal I detect. Now, both cameras can film in 4K 120 frames per second, but the Sony a6700, besides the APS-C crops in even more. But it's not really a deal breaker because I'm always wanting to get closer to birds and squirrels and rabbits when I'm trying to film them. I can never get close enough with the reach of my lens. I didn't bother to do an overheating test. Not because I didn't think about it, but most YouTubers all defer to Gerald Undone's scientific testing.
Overheating, okay? Listen, I didn't do all the super extensive testing that some other channels did. If you want like all of that, go to Gerald Undone's channel.
Already there.
Yeah.
The camera's runtime quickly tapers off as you increase ambient temperature, which leads me to make a few conclusions and recommendations. This camera will do quite well in an environment of 22C or lower, but is definitely not recommended in hot environments unless you only record short clips. I suspect Sony finds this acceptable though, as they're targeting this camera toward vloggers who likely aren't recording hour-long takes and are probably recording their 4K 60 in very short bursts.
I know I have a long way to go if I'm ever going to make the same epic camera reviews like the large YouTube channels, but I'm definitely going to keep doing my research. If you like this video, give it a like, consider subscribing for more camera reviews from a newbie like me. God bless.